Ambassador Kel Thara of the Galactic Council watched the emergency session with growing unease, as representatives from 47 different species filled the Great Assembly Hall. In 300 years of diplomatic service, she had never seen such widespread panic among the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. "Order! Order!" called Council President Vorthark, his usually calm demeanor cracking under the pressure. "We will address each concern in turn." Ambassador Zrix of the Hegemony Confederation, you called this emergency session. Please state your concerns. Ambassador Zrix, his scales pale with fear, stood with visible effort. Honored Council, 6 hours ago, the human fleet arrived in Zaldarian space. All of it. A murmur rippled through the assembly. Kel Thara felt her stomach drop. The human fleet wasn't just formidable, it was the largest military force in known space, built during their rapid expansion over the past century. "Surely you mean a human fleet," corrected Representative Jelnor of the trade union. "Humans don't move their entire military force for all of it," Zrix repeated, his voice shaking. "Every ship, every station, every mobile weapons platform. The humans have moved their entire military infrastructure to protect one small colony world that most of us had never heard of." Council President Vorthark's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. "What is the strategic value of this world? Rare minerals? Hyperspace junction?" "None," Zrix replied. "It's a farming colony. Population 43,000 Zaldarians. No military value. No strategic resources. No political importance." Then why Vorthark began, but he was interrupted by Admiral Keshtar of the Dominion fleet. "Because the Zaldarians helped them," Keshtar said quietly. 80 years ago, when humans were still a young species, barely capable of interstellar travel, a group of human refugees sought shelter in Zaldarian space. The Zaldarians took them in, fed them, gave them supplies to continue their journey. The assembly fell silent as the implications began to sink in. "How many refugees?" asked Kel Thara, though she dreaded the answer. 37 humans, Keshtar replied. 37 refugees from a single failed colony. The Zaldarians probably spent less than 1,000 credits helping them. Representative Jelnor's trading appendages trembled. "And now? Now the Zaldarian homeworld is under siege by the Ravager swarms," Zrix continued. "The same swarms that destroyed the Altair Confederation last month. 3 billion ship-eating bioconstructs. Nothing has ever survived a Ravager assault. The humans received word of the attack 6 hours ago," Admiral Keshtar added grimly. "Within 30 minutes, every human vessel in the galaxy began moving towards Zaldarian space. They're calling it Operation Debt Paid." Kel Thara's mind reeled. The human fleet included over 50,000 vessels, ranging from scout ships to dreadnoughts the size of small moons. Moving such a force should have taken weeks of planning, months of logistics coordination. "This is madness," whispered Senator Veltara of the Republic Worlds. "The Ravager swarms have consumed entire star systems. Even the human fleet couldn't." Her words were cut off by an aide rushing into the assembly hall with an emergency communication device. The message that played made every representative in the hall go silent. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force," came the transmission. "To all Galactic Council members, human forces have arrived in Zaldarian space and are engaging the Ravager swarms. We are broadcasting this engagement for educational purposes." The main assembly screen activated, showing a tactical display of the Zaldarian system. The Ravager swarms appeared as a seething mass of organic ships surrounding the Zaldarian homeworld, 3 billion creatures that had devoured everything in their path across half the galaxy. And advancing toward them was the entire human fleet, arranged not in careful defensive formations, but in what could only be described as an aggressive assault pattern. "Educational purposes?" Thara whispered. "What are they trying to teach us?" Her question was answered as the engagement began. The humans didn't fight the Ravager swarms. They annihilated them. What followed was 47 minutes of systematic extermination that redefined every species' understanding of warfare. The humans had clearly studied every previous Ravager encounter, analyzed every weakness, and developed weapons specifically designed to counter bioconstructs. Ships that had consumed entire civilizations dissolved under human molecular disruptors. Swarm formations that had overwhelmed every defense were shattered by coordinated attacks that seemed to anticipate every movement. The humans fought with a precision and ruthlessness that made the assembled diplomats physically recoil. "They're not just destroying the swarms," Admiral Keshtar observed with horrified fascination. "They're sterilizing them, making sure nothing survives to regenerate." When the battle ended, 3 billion Ravager bioconstructs had been reduced to dispersed atoms. The threat that had terrorized the galaxy for months had been eliminated in less than an hour. Admiral Chen's voice returned to the transmission. "Zoldarian homeworld is secure. All threats neutralized. The debt is paid." The transmission ended, leaving the assembly in stunned silence. Finally, Council President Vorthak found his voice. They mobilized their entire military force to repay a kindness shown to 37 refugees 80 years ago. "That's not the terrifying part," said Admiral Keshtar quietly. "The terrifying part is how easily they did it. The Ravager swarms were the most dangerous threat in the galaxy, and the humans eliminated them like they were clearing space debris." Ambassador Thara felt a chill run through her entire body as the true implications became clear. If humans are willing to do this to repay a small kindness, what would they do to repay a real debt? What would they do for a true alliance? The question hung in the air, like a death sentence. Representative Gelnor was the first to speak the thought that was in everyone's mind. And what would they do to those who wronged them? As the emergency session dissolved into panicked planning, one thing became clear throughout the galaxy. Having humans as enemies was terrifying. But having them as friends who felt they owed you a debt might be even worse. Because when humans repaid their debts, they didn't just meet their obligations, they exceeded them in ways that shook the foundations of galactic civilization. The galaxy had learned to fear human generosity.